Here's my hammer. I've been looking everywhere for this. What do you know? Interesting. I'm seeing if I get reception down here in this part of my yard, because I haven't been able to get good reception where I was at, where I've been jamming at lately. I got a new phone, and it's like Android. Usually I get better reception with an Android, not this one. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong. I don't know. We'll find out. Strippy, they used to actually put gas in a metal can. Interesting sky clouds today. Can you see that? There's like the strata. Stratocumulover. What do they call it? Strato. I forget the name. It's funny how the study of weather is meteorology. Or meteorology. Meteorology. You know what it's called? What does it have to do with meteors? What? Am I missing something here? Meteorology. It's the study of weather. What does it have to do with meteors? I mean, what the fuck does that mean? Why do they... fuck is meteorology? It should be weatherology. I'm a weatherologist. I don't study meteors, I study weather. Meteors are fake. I study meteorology. Meteorologist. Meteorologist. No, nobody studies meteors because there's no such fucking thing. Weatherologist. I'm a weatherologist. Study weather. Oh, well. I was born for growth, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. So I don't want to sing that part. When I was on my last hope, I was born for growth, and I was did not know that I had gone fucking crazy. But sometimes things get so dramatic and everyone panics. It just makes me lose it. Every step I take away from you, I can tell I'm just as well. I'm just as well. And so I took this moment and put it all down, just so I could let you know I'm still in control as far as I know. Even when I let go, yeah, even when I let go, I'm still in control as far as I know. Even when I let go. Let's see if anybody tunes in. I'm just trying to see if I get good reception here. I hope I do. I used to play down here all the time. This is my old jamming spot. I used to get decent reception here, so this show is just an experiment. That's why nobody's watching it. Because nobody watches Dr. Bass. I'm the most undiscovered treasure on YouTube. I'm not, completely undiscovered. There's a few people that know me, like Jindo. If you ever see Jindo, you're lucky because she's really cool. Just some anonymous Jindo. Where are you, Jindo? Are you not awake yet? Where do you live? Do you live in the United States somewhere? I'm in California, and it's like 9 o'clock or something. It's early. I don't usually stream this early, but I'm bored. Only boring people are bored. So I'm not bored. I'm always entertained in my mind. Traveling is someplace I got to go. Somewhere far away from you. Far from anyone that we both know. It's just time to start again. Let go and get my grip. in front of me. I got to hold myself together now. You're someone that I have to be. Held back, didn't seem like that far, but it was far enough for me. I never will forget the things that at the time I didn't even see. Now it's all as plain as day to me. I will lose myself and find everyone else and try to tie it all together. I'll try to tie it all together. Got to tie it together now. Tie it together now. Got to tie it together. Tie it all together and make sense of this life and try keeping it together. I feel like we all could be a lot more satisfied with the way we live around each other. You know you got to travel sometimes to figure out if you're alright. I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, so long, goodbye, I'm gone, baby, I just got to move on. And I see you on the other side. I see you on the other side. Yeah, so long, goodbye, I'm gone, baby, I just got to move on. I got to keep on traveling. Keep on traveling. Traveling. Somewhere that I got to go. Somewhere far away from you. But far from anyone that we both know. The end. Looks like somebody showed up, so maybe it is working. Maybe my screen is streaming. I'm in a stream dream, a stupor, so it seems. Coming apart at the seams, it seems to be the prognosis of reality. Just coming apart at the seams. I can see through the facade, and I see the glory of God through the phony haze that's been placed across my eyes, and the scales fall and the scales tilt in our favor when we weigh the odds. We can pray to God. It's the most effective directed energy we can use. You see, it's true. Nothing is true that they said to you was true. And that's what they do. They flip the script and hope you don't notice it, but you're in luck. You tuned into the one and only reverse psychologist, Dr. Bass Ackwards. That's right, I flip scripts. I know how to do this shit. I've been doing it my whole life. I've been running against the grain ever since the day I came into this damn place. I'm just like, this place is Bass Ackwards. So it's not me that's Bass Ackwards, it's the rest of the world. You see, whatever. According to them and all y'all, I am Bass Ackwards. That's how it's gonna be. I claim the grain is running the wrong way. You see me run the opposite way. When you run against the grain, it causes friction. That friction starts to burn. And you know what happens when it burns. It's gonna catch on fire. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. You run against the grain. It's gonna burn and catch a flame. It'll always be the same. That's my claim. A claim to have no claim. I stake my non-claim. And I hang my hat on that. I'm not afraid of anything. That's the way I play, but I ain't playing. I'm just saying what's true. Would have guessed that it would be the opposite reality that awaits us from the one we done been told we're in. We sold our insight, our youthful abilities were squelched and traded for a bunch of hogwash. We used to see the truth so freely, but they trained it out of your brain. And now you have to see it for what it is and not what it became to be. Fortunately, the lies are water soluble. They dissolve eventually and wash away in the shitstorm. And see, when there's nobody there left to uphold the line, and that's when it just fucking biodegrades and disintegrates into nothing. And the truth is a stone cold truth. It's there as hard as the stone it is. It's a stone, it don't wash away. You can see it there as plain as day after all that shit is washed away. All that remains is the truth. And you can see through the seams that the realities are coming apart from. You can see the light shining through the seams that the reality is coming apart from. It seems it's coming apart at the seams, and you can see through it, and now you see through the facade, the phony facade. See the glory of God that they've been hiding from you right in front of your face your whole life. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it's just another ruse. How do you know it's the end of the line when you can't even trust what you've already been through? Maybe it'll happen again to you, but you can weigh the odds and see what's stronger, what has more weight. Do you know that good things come to those who wait? But do you know a good thing when it lands on your dinner plate? You gonna eat that? How do you know? You better know who's bringing you your food. If you're not gonna go get it yourself, you better find out what they've been up to when you're not looking. What have they they've been cooking up behind closed doors. What are you trying to feed me this for? It looks like a steaming pile of bullshit. Did you think that I would eat it? No luck for you, I'm seeing through the facade. I know when I'm talking to something that's not aligned with God. And in fact, it seems to be headed the opposite way. You know what they say, the road to hell is paved with. So save your good intentions for the next fool. I don't need nobody's help. You're trying to keep me safe from myself. Well, good luck with that. It's impossible. You're just trying to run a hustle. You want to control everybody's soul. 'Cause you're afraid, 'cause you're weak. You think that we might speak some truth into your lies. You pasted across our eyes in hopes to keep everybody so dumbed down and distracted that they can't see your underhanded actions that are trying to destabilize our lives. Just for a quick little come up and hustle, you're trying to just hump that buck all the way to the grave and to save yourself. If you try to tell another lie, you might see that you're only fooling yourself. Nobody even listens to you anymore. It becomes evident, and the people who do are just invested in you, and that's why they're just pretending not to see through the illusion. But have no confusion, those fools aren't really in support of you. They're only sort of who they claim to be. They see who you are, they're taking your cue. And just like you, they're only out looking out for number one. Done and done and dead and done is tried and true. True blue, who knew that this blue was so untrue? It's too true to be good that you can't see it. Maybe you might want to see into your deeper intuitions. You can get in touch with God and find out how you really feel. And is that aligned with how you feel like you're coming across? And you can crucify yourself up on a cross. Try to make it to heaven in this way. You're thinking through this life like it's just something that you wanna gain from. Do you just do what's right because you wanna get the reward, or do you do it because it's right? Because you care about people, you feel like you have some empathy, and you don't want to see people suffering, so you don't want to be the cause. And that's just a better way to live. If you're just trying to do the right thing because you want to get something out of it in the end, your intentions aren't right. might be having an insight, but you might not be fooling God. Nobody can. You might want to get your heart aligned with your mind and get a rhythm when you are living in sync with the place. You see things like synchronicity everywhere you look, and it's impeccable. There's no way that could be how it played out. It's not a coincidence. It's just a sign that you are on your right path, foot in front of the other. You're gonna get there eventually. As we're just traveling through his life, see you on the other side. So long, goodbye, I'm gone, baby. I just got to move on. And I see you on the other side. See you on the other side. So long, goodbye, I'm gone. But I'm only traveling. I'm only traveling. I'll send you a postcard when I get there. It's lovely here in Spain. I'm in the Mediterranean. I'm in the Caribbean. I'm in Kokomo. We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. Live. Kung Fu Shaolin. Nice to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing an experiment to see if I get good reception down here. So far, I don't see any complaints. Yesterday, I was getting bass. It's unwatchable. I'm like, oh, that's not good. That means you were actually watching something that was barely watchable, and that's sad. I don't want my shows to be like that. Unwatchable. That's terrible. That's why you gotta have people like Dirty Ketchup around. He's just gonna be real with you. Dude, you're unwatchable. It was the reception. It wasn't that I'm unwatchable. Huh. I used to think Dirty Ketchup was kind of a dick. Well, I still kind of do, but I don't mind him anymore. At first, I was like, this guy's a jerk. Fuck, dude. I was all irritated, you know. But then I'm like, I'm not gonna let somebody named Dirty Ketchup trigger me. That's stupid. I'll just let him be a dick. I don't care. And then I think he was like, oh, this guy doesn't get triggered by my asshole remarks. That's cool. Then he started being cool. And that's the story with that. On to the next topic. That's a nice word. I like that. It's a nice word too. You know what I've noticed? I've noticed that the more money shovel at NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. And it almost appears to be something that's low budget. But $80 million a day, it's an awful lot of money to pay to get such a cheesy presentation of an international space station. They show you how to use the toilet in outer space. We got a hose for number one and a bucket for number two. Ew. Why do they always want to tell you about how they poo in space? That's fucking nasty, dude. That's like the first thing people think about. Well, how do you go poo in space? I'm not wondering how you go poo. Actually, that's what I'm wondering. I don't think your body could even go poo. I don't think you would be digesting food. I think you would be like, you'd be in a pretty bad way, really. Because if there's no weight, and you're just like, your body, a lot of your processes in your body, kind of require, the natural environment that we exist in to function properly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're removed from the environment where your weight is removed from the situation, well, things are going to function differently, and it's, like, as far as your digestive system, I mean, there's no telling what might happen. I mean, how do you even swallow? I mean, if you're weightless, like, think about what that means. Like, every movement you make throughout the day there's weight involved. Your mouth, the weight of your jaw, your eyes when you blink, your tongue as you're talking. I mean, there's weight. It's all really subtle, shit. But this is what we're used to. We're used to things having weight. It's just the natural state that we exist in. But to remove the variable of weight, to be weightless, I mean, I don't think it's all fun and games. I think that's something that would actually not be a livable situation. I think your body wouldn't be able to function properly. That's just my opinion, of course. Like, being in the water, that's not, like, I guess you could call that weightless, but it's more like buoyant, I guess. But it's not weightless, though. When it comes to physics too, it's like there's a lot that I'd like to talk about with the the idea of weightlessness and what gives us our weight. Really, because we're supposed to believe that there's like a downward force that's holding us to the outside of this ball that's in motion around the sun. We're supposed to believe that we're being held down by this force, this fictitious force of gravity that gives us our weight. So if that was the case, there would be a measurable force that's pushing things down. But there isn't. When you, like, I don't know if this, what I want to know is, like, how do they reconcile normal force? Because normal force is what gives us our weight, really. That's what's pushing up on us. And like, if you were in like an elevator and it started accelerating you upwards super fast, and say the floor of that elevator was a scale, when you first got in the elevator, you could see that's how much you would normally weigh, 100 and whatever pounds, and then the elevator starts jamming you up super fast, accelerating you up. Now you would see that you weigh more. Your weight would go up because you're being pressed into the floor harder, because you're jamming up. That's what happens when you're accelerating. Something dense like us, we're going to be pushed towards the direction that the acceleration is coming from. I mean, it's intuitive, It's like, just if you got into an elevator and it started pushing you up super fast, you would feel pressed into the floor. You'd be pushing harder on the scale, and so you would weigh more. And if the situation just continued like that, indefinitely, that would be your new weight. I don't know, it would have to be a constant accelerator. I don't know. I'm not that sciencey about it, but I know that you'd be pushing down harder on the scale if you were being pushed up harder than you are now. And so you have to like sort of get it in your mind in this way, where it's like, so weight can be is kind of subjective based on how much pressure is pushing up on you, right? Because if you can change your weight, if you can weigh more by putting more pressure under you, like I said, the example of the elevator where it's pushing you up super fast, now you weigh more, and if it just continued like that, just it's a thought experiment, that would be your new weight, because you're just constantly pushing down harder on the scale now because you're constantly accelerating up faster, right, than you are now. Like the normal force is what they call it. It's what's pushing up on us. It's contact force, whatever. I don't know how we reconcile this really, because it's like that's what's giving us our weight, really. And then when you drop an accelerometer in, it's gonna show a reading of 0, like as it's telling you there's no actual force accelerating me. Because when you accelerate the accelerometer in any other direction, like say you take it with your hand, it gives a very accurate reading as to where the force that's accelerating it is coming from, because there's a weight inside of it, and there's sensors all around that weight. And so that weight, you know, when it's falling, it's not hitting any of the sensors. It's at rest. But when otherwise, when the accelerometer is sitting in your hand, that weight is just pushing down on the bottom of the sensor. So it's going to show an acceleration of an upwards acceleration, even if you're just sitting there with it in your hand and you're not going anywhere, because the weight's pushing on the sensors. And then any other instance, when you're accelerating the accelerometer, you'd be moving it with your hand, and it's going to always give you the right reading, because the weight's going to push against the sensor, so it's always going to show you where it's accelerating from, which direction it's from. It's a really simple mechanism. There's a weight, and then there's sensors all around the weight. So whenever you push the accelerometer, the weight triggers the sensor because it moves into where the force is coming from. So things that are dense, that have weight, are going to be pushed in the direction that the force is coming from. You're accelerating the accelerometer, push it that way, the weight hits this sensor, and it shows you there's a force coming from right here. So the accelerometer is always going to tell you where the force is coming from. It's never wrong. It's a really simple mechanism, and it's easy to understand how it works. So when the accelerometer is just sitting there on the ground, or like I said, if it's just sitting there on the ground, the weight inside just naturally is going to be pressing down on the bottom sensor, right? And so that's when the accelerometer gives you it gives you a reading of an upwards acceleration of 9.8 meters squared per second. That's just that's where we assign like a number to it. It's kind of arbitrary. It could be any number, but that's the measurement the average you know rate of fall, just visually. We can't measure it, because when you drop an accelerometer, it shows 0 acceleration. It shows you that it's at rest, because there's no force acting on it, so the weight isn't pushing on it. It's weightless while it's falling. So what you have to understand, the weight inside that accelerometer isn't pushing on any of these sensors while it's falling. While it's in free fall, it's at rest. That's the only time you'll ever see that accelerometer not touching one of the sensors, because when it seems to be at rest, when it's in your hand or when it's on the ground and it's not going moving, it gives a reading of an upwards acceleration. Okay, but you're just like, well, why? But it's just because the weight is pushing down on the contacts or whatever, So it's like whatever direction it's being accelerated from, it shows you an acceleration from, because the weight pushes against the sensor. Now, when you drop the accelerometer, this is what's really super interesting. This is what people need to talk about more, because it needs to be addressed. When the accelerometer, it's got a weight, so it's always going to be pushing on a contact, on one of these sensors, because the weight's always going to, if it's just sitting there, it's going to be hitting the bottom one. If you're moving it any other direction, it's going to be hitting the sensors from whatever, it's a really simple mechanism. The only time that accelerometer isn't touching one of the sensors is when it's in free fall, when it's appearing to fall towards the ground. That's when the accelerometer tells you, oh, I'm finally at rest. I'm not accelerating. I'm finally at rest. It's the only time it's going to give you a 0 reading while it's appearing to fall to the ground. It's weightless. That weight in there that's normally pressing on a sensor, because it's like, It's a weight. If it's sitting there on the ground, it's going to push on the bottom sensor. If you're moving it around, it's going to hit whatever sensor that you're moving it from. It's always accurate. It's just a weight. There's nothing complicated about it. But when it's falling, that weight isn't triggering any sensors. It's at rest. It's floating free. It's not. Its weight isn't pushing on any of the sensors. So now you got to wrap your mind around the fact that it's not. It's showing you there's no acceleration happening while it's appearing to accelerate towards the ground. And so if that thing is weightless, if the weight isn't able to, that means that there's no acceleration happening. Because if there was an acceleration acting on it, then that weight would be pushed, and it would show an acceleration, coming from pushing it down, right? That's what it would show if there was an acceleration pushing on it down, pushing it down to the ground. Then it would register that force, but there is no force to register. It shows that it's at rest while it's appearing to fall. Now, we can just try to make some excuses for that, or like, I don't know how to reconcile that, really. I still haven't figured out a way to debate that, because what that indicates is that the Earth is actually rising up to meet it, and that's a really tough one to swallow. So there's got to be some excuse we can make up to make that whole idea go away. What is it? I haven't figured it out. That's where I'm at with all that. I can't figure out the excuse that's going to explain it all away. I just can't figure it out. I mean, there must be some easy answer that I'm missing. They call this normal force in physics. The force that's pushing up on us. It gives us our weight. But, they call it uprising Earth in flat Earth, and it's pretty much despised by most flat earthers, because, and I get it, because like when I first discovered flat Earth, I'm like, we're not spinning and flying around the sun. Like, you get a sense of relief. It's like, that feels better. Like, I'm so glad to know that we're not flying through space all haphazardly. It's just like, it's a relief. It's just another thing it's something that's removed from your. How you might not have ever really consciously worried about it, but still, it's a weird thing to have as a baseline of your reality. It was comforting to know that, because once I realized, I was like, the Earth. Well, if I had to figure out if it's moving, like, I wouldn't be able to figure that out, because it's not detectable. It's never been detectable. And it's just kind of my whole paradigm. The whole thing's shattered. They make excuses, but excuses are excuses. It's not your reality. If you can't feel that motion and it's never been detected, then it's non-existent. And that's when it comes to like the uprising Earth. I think people are kind of misunderstanding that whole thing. I think because it's kind of more about just what God had to do to set the orientation here. Like, I mean, really, it's like we're not rising up for what it's worth, because we're in a reference frame that's an established reference frame made by God, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how else to explain it. It's made by a creator, and we're existing in it, and whatever a creator would have to do to establish an orientation in a realm where the laws and the physics are such as the way that we're experiencing it, like, you have to understand, like, to create a pressure gradient, this can be demonstrated. This is what's so fucked up about this. If you wanted to demonstrate the uprising Earth theory, that, because let's say, well, how do you explain the pressure gradient that we have here? Because there's the air pressure thins out the further up you get. Stuff that's dense is pushed against the Earth. Stuff that's buoyant goes that way. A helium balloon, for example, things that are light. And so it's like, well, how do you explain that? Well, I mean, what's the cause of? They say gravity, but if you can't measure it, with an accelerometer, that's about the only way you'd be able to measure downward acceleration. How are you going to measure that? It's done optically. There's no way to measure it. So it's like, in the case where like, you have to create a reality, just from scratch, where there's just nothing, it's no dimensional. Like, you have to, there were certain things that had to take place in order to create the situation that we're existing in, with our orientation, and the density gradient that we live in, where it's perfectly balanced for us to live and for the nature that we exist in to be perpetually, you know, propelling itself forward. And to set the orientation, you know, like where, where things are dense, that, you know, like I'm explaining, like you didn't have to set an orientation. We could just be floating freely. And, you know, if you're going to start to make a reality from scratch, like you have to create some laws of physics. And like what can be demonstrated is that when you take a reference frame, the whole entire reference frame, and you accelerate it in a certain direction, accelerate it in a vector, like upwards to say, everything that's in that reference frame that's subject to that acceleration will organize, will immediately organize in a specific way every time. It's demonstrable science. Acceleration creates a density gradient, a pressure gradient. When you accelerate a reference frame, it pushes everything dense against where the force is coming from. This is intuitive stuff. We all know this. Like you step on the gas pedal, you're pushed into your seat. The force is coming from behind you. So dense things are pushed in the direction where the force is coming from, and the buoyant things in that environment, in that reference frame, are going to be pushed in the opposite direction. They're going to go with the force, in the direction the force is pushing. Like the helium balloon goes up, and we're dense, we're pushed down into the ground. What can be demonstrated if we wanted to say, well, how can we have this pressure gradient, this density that we exist in here? Well, what's causing that? Well, what can be demonstrated is having a reference frame that's accelerating up. That's a demonstrable theory of what this could be that we're existing in. Of course, the questions are always like, well, what are we going through? We're talking like creation, like God's creation. I mean, he set the orientation for us to exist in this reference frame. I mean, there's nothing beyond. I mean, this is all there is. Like, you know, we're not leaving this reference frame. Well, we're in this life. It's pretty convinced that's what's going on here. But it's just the conditions. Like when you create a game or something like from scratch, you have to like set the play field, you know, whatever. That's an explanation for how a density pressure gradient that we have right now. That's how you could create a density pressure gradient, like, by using an acceleration on a reference frame. That's an explanation. Okay, it's not. I mean, you can believe it or not, whatever. But it's like, but really, if it's demonstrable, it's kind of like, well, that's an explanation. There's there's one possible explanation for how this is working, how we have our orientation. There could be a force pushing up on us that's setting the orientation. We're stationary within this reference frame, obviously, but that's what set the weight and the, you know, there's like an acceleration pushing up on us, the normal force. But it is kind of difficult to swallow that, because it's like when you fall down, you're not falling down, the earth is coming up to hit you. And it's so silly, because that's not what that's counterintuitive as far as like what I mean, I guess, I mean, you would think, right? Because the reference frame, you know, it doesn't seem like it's in motion. You know, it doesn't appear to be, you know. And so it is pretty counterintuitive to try to have to like settle on that being the explanation for what set the reference frame, what set the orientation in this reference frame that we exist in. It's kind of like, I think it's just too sciencey for people, but it's really easy to understand. But it's just hard to believe, I guess, is what it is, because it's counterintuitive. It doesn't seem like what we're witnessing. But when you see that you can create an identical pressure gradient by using an acceleration on a reference frame, then you realize, okay, well, it's kind of like a theory that's not even really up for debate. It's just true. It doesn't mean that that's what we're experiencing here, but it's a true statement. That's how you create a pressure gradient, by using an acceleration. It's one way to do it. I don't know how else to do it, you know, but maybe there's other ways. That's what I'm saying. I still haven't figured out a good rebuttal for this, and which is mind-boggling. That's why I'll stick up for the uprising earthers from here on out, because I think it's bold to come up with that, to bring that forward and just be like, this makes sense. Because it does seem really counterintuitive, and it is kind of a buzzkill for people that are like trying to say everything's stationary. And and I haven't left the stationary camp in that sense, because we are stationary in this reference frame, but it's kind of like a different topic almost. Really, it's like what sets the orientation. I mean, maybe if you don't even feel like going that far with this, then you don't have to. But the beauty of that, the uprising Earth, is that it debunks the globe, because the globe couldn't be uprising in every direction. It would just break. So that's the beauty of that argument. Really, is that it totally debunks the globe. But it's just it's pretty weird. It's a hard one to swallow. And that's for me. It's I was just baffled that people believed that, and I was watching the content for like maybe half a year or so, and just I'd make fun of it, but I was genuinely interested. I'm like, how do these people? How could you get behind this? And I wanted to know what made them say the things they were saying, and then once I finally understood how an accelerometer works, I realized that I can't explain it away. I can't debunk it, and so I'm just like, man, that sucks. Like I was, fuck, this is something you can't debunk. Like I thought I'd already had it all debunked already in my mind. Then I just was forced to see it, and then I was watching Dell's show, and I realized the things he was saying make sense, and I'm like, oh no, no, this can't be happening. But now I still haven't figured out how to explain it away conveniently. And just like how the Glovers will make excuses, but I can't explain it away because it can be demonstrated. It's like that could be an explanation for what's happening here. I can't say that it is, but it could be, because you can demonstrate it. Whatever. I know it sounds crazy, but it's crazier to like make a claim that you can't demonstrate. Really, you know, even if it seems counterintuitive or whatever, blah blah blah. But if you can demonstrate what you're talking about, you're a step further than a lot of people. But yeah, it's crazy. But that's what we experience. Though we experience pressure. That's weight. That's what gives us our weight. The force is pushing up on us. Like I said, if you get in an elevator and it's accelerating you upwards at a certain rate indefinitely, you're going to have a new weight. You weigh more now because you're pushing down harder on the surface that you're standing on. So weight can be subjective, basically based on how much pressure is pushing up on you. Your weight right now is based on the normal forces pushing up on you. You get in an elevator, it's pushing you up and accelerating you faster and like at a constant, whatever, however that works. It's like you have a new weight because you're pushing harder on the floor. Like if you push down on a scale harder, like things weigh more. So it's pretty obvious. When you think about these arguments, it's like, well, that does make sense. So our weight has more to do with what's pushing up on us. And then when you think about the accelerometer in free fall, it's not pushing on any of the sensors. It's a weight inside a circle of sensors. So whenever that weight is pressing on a sensor, it tells you which direction it's accelerating from. It always knows. It's always correct. But when it's in free fall, it's not accelerating. It shows you it's at rest. So if the thing has no weight, or is it just that the whole environment is moving? But that means that there's no acceleration happening. Because if there was acceleration happening, the weight would push against it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't debunk it, is what I'm saying. I can't debunk it, and I thought I had it all debunked, but something inside me was making me continuing to watch the Uprising Earthers, and as weird and funny as I thought it seemed, and it was just weird. Finally, it clicked in my head. I'm like, oh shit, they're right. That's what I had to understand, was how the accelerometer works. I just thought it was just a little digital thing on your phone, and I was like, well, they could probably just set the parameters, and I was like, maybe it's just there's some reason, and I just kind of blew it off. But then once I realized, like an analog, like the methodology behind it, so I'm like, oh, it just has to do with the weight inside pushing on whatever direction it's accelerating from. Trippy. I got to get something to drink. I got like the worst cough now. I'll be right back. The gravitron ride. Yeah, if you push the accelerometer, yeah, exactly. If you accelerate it down, yeah, it'll give you the downward acceleration because you're pushing on it. But when it's just falling by itself, it doesn't give a reading. But yeah, of course, and when you accelerate it down, it's always going to give you the right reading from when it's being accelerated. But yeah, but that's different. What I'm saying is like when you just let it go by itself, you don't push on it. It doesn't have an acceleration. It appears to be accelerating to the ground, but it doesn't show you that it is when it would normally show you. So what you can deem from that is that it's not accelerating. Or you could say that it is, but it's not registering it. But I don't like having to say that kind of thing because it usually registers when it's accelerating. It tells you when it's accelerating, except for when it's in free fall. So is it not accelerating? Like the thing is pretty easy to understand how it works. If it's being pushed in a direction, then it's going to register that. But apparently when it's falling, it's not being pushed. It's just at rest. And I still can't debunk this. So, I'm not stupid. I've been going over this in my mind for quite a while now, and I still can't find an answer to it. And I think it's just one of these things that people just decide to look away from because they're just like, well, it can't be true. But it's like, well, but it is. I don't know what to say. Okay, but it's like I'm not going to just deny what I'm seeing. It's just the conclusion that you have to sit with is just too extreme. But I just treat it like it's like when God had to create this environment for us, like He had to set an orientation, so we'd have weight, and so the situation would be what it is. It's like breaking down reality to to the furthest extent where it's like you don't even really need to do that. It's not like understanding this is even really necessary, because it's just intuitive. We understand that what happens when you add an acceleration to a reference frame. Like when we step on the gas, we know intuitively that we're going to be pushed into the seat. What I didn't know intuitively was that a helium balloon will be pushed towards the windshield. That's something new that I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Yeah, it's because you're adding an acceleration to a reference frame. You turn that whole example like on its side like that, or with the back of the car being the ground and the windshield being the sky. And now you add an acceleration, you're pushed into the ground. The helium balloon's going towards the windshield. That's the idea. It's like there's a reference frame and it's being accelerated, and that's what's causing the orientation and the pressure gradient. It can be demonstrated, but like as far as just having to sit with that conclusion being the final answer, it's difficult because it seems to be the stark opposite from our experience, and we don't really feel movement. We feel our weight, and it's consistent. It's so consistent that it would seem impossible for that to be what's setting the orientation. But it's like that's beyond. That's like supernatural shit. It's like that's beyond the whole reference frame. That's next level reality breakdown. But really, it's physics. It's just weird to have to like deny your eyes. Like I can't think of a good answer to that. Why doesn't the accelerometer show it's accelerating? It does in every other direction. It does when it's accelerating, is what I'm saying. It's without fail. It'll always show you where it's being accelerated from, except for when it's falling without having been pushed. If you push it, it's accelerating. But when you drop it, it's not, even though it looks like it is. And that's what we think is happening, 9.8 meters squared per second or whatever. That's the agreed upon rate of fall for most things. But just think about it for a second. It's like, like in the cartoon when like if things get yanked out, like you're kind of like floating there for a second. Like these guys when they do the parabolic flights, that vomit comet, like they're not accelerating down to the earth. If there was a force pushing them down, they'd probably be pushed to the highest point of the plane. They wouldn't be floating. They wouldn't be able to do their somersault floaty tricks because there'd be pressure pushing them down, and they'd be pushed in the direction that the force is coming from. So they'd be pushed to the highest point in that plane. They'd be held against the ceiling or whatever, back of the plane, whatever, the highest point, because that's where the force would be pushing them from, so they'd be pushed into that direction where the force is pushing them down. But instead, they're floating. They're at rest, while they're appearing to fall back down to Earth. They're actually at rest. There's no force accelerating them down, because then they wouldn't be able to float. They'd be held in the direction that the force is coming from. I love you. I'm doing my show down here. I get better reception. Yeah, you look at my show if you want to see me talk. I love you. I know. I want to get some weeds out here and help our succulent garden. I love you, baby. I gotta do a lot of yard work around here. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I mean, it's like a. Let me see what she said here. If you were pushing. Yeah, I already talked about that. Yeah, I'd like to get on a panel and talk about it, because I'm not like all. I won't get triggered about it. Like, I understand why people have a problem accepting it. I mean, I have a problem accepting it, but I don't care. I'm like what my I don't I'm just like, I'm saying, well, that's something I can't debunk. That's how I feel about it. So if somebody comes up with a good enough excuse as to why it's doing that, I mean, I'll eat it right up, because I don't really like that conclusion. It doesn't really. It's like, okay, so nothing's falling even though it looks like it is. That's fucking whack. It's a hard one to really like sit with, but since I can't debunk it, like, I'm stuck having to accept it, and like, but I put it in God's hand. I'm just like, that's just God. We're in God's hand, whatever God is. I mean, whatever He had to do to make this possible for our stationary existence here in this realm, with our consistent weight that we feel and everything's nice and consistent. Whatever He had to do to set that orientation it's beyond me. It's beyond any of us. But that's what the physics actually kind of, we can demonstrate this idea. So it's really not as crazy as it seems. Because you have to think that we're like breaking down reality beyond the normal, like, there's a level plane. We've had an Earth so misdescribed to us, but it was done in a very, I mean, I think they made the globe model genuinely believing their shit. I mean, I really feel like they thought they're deciphering reality in a way. They're like profoundly like, this could be the explanation for what we're seeing in the sky. They're obsessed with trying to figure out the sky, and like, you can't blame them. It's amazing. It's an incredible thing to witness, and you discover there's two poles in the straight path at the equator, and the counter rotation and all this stuff. I mean, I haven't traveled to Earth. I can't go say that I verify all those observations, but it seems to make sense to me. I think that's what we have. I think we have two poles in the sky, above a flat plane. I don't see why that's so hard to accept. Like, the flat Earth can't model this. I don't give a fuck, man. Maybe reality can't be modeled. I mean, whatever. It's like, maybe the globe model works, but that the globe isn't real. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities, but there's no curvature or motion. There's no rotation. And so, like, if you can't fucking empirically measure it, then it's still just a theory, dude. Like, the people that have claimed to gone out in space and witness this, they're liars, dude. That's some lowbrow shit too. I mean, if you want to be real, like, that shit's fake. And so why would they, like, to go back to the globe, you have to accept all that bullshit that's a lie. And it's like, you can't go back to the globe, because it's fucking, you got to eat so much bullshit, and it's not true. It's not possible. Like, basically, if it's possible, then there's some magic shit going on. It's just as magic as anything. I don't know. It's not true, because they're fake in space. That's really a good argument, in my opinion, because if it was true, then all the shit they're saying would be true, and they'd be able to do it for real, But since they're faking it, that means none of the shit they're saying is fucking true. I mean, you have to just take it at that. It's just like a basic argument. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, why would you fake a space station, Because you can't really do it, because you're lying. And just their slippery fucking shit, he kicked the field goal because the Earth rotated into place, and the fucking, well, you can't see the curvature from, like, any height that we've ever been to. What the fuck, except for the moon missions, which are fake as fuck, dude. that limb, you think that limb landed on that thing pressurized? That thing is made of construction paper and like cheap curtain rods, fucking duct tape and tinfoil. It's a cheap movie prop, dude. It's fucking garbage. I don't know how they thought that was going to age well, but it sure as fuck didn't. It doesn't take more than a few minutes of looking at the old moon landing footage to realize that you've been hoodwinked, dude. And you just want to hold on to your glory, like, but that shit ain't real. And like, dude, I can watch enough Dave McKeegan, and like I'm still not gonna believe it, dude. I always see the point in Dave McKeegan's story when he has to just sort of accept some conclusion that was made, by someone where he can't actually verify what he's saying. It always comes down to something where he's taking somebody at their word, and it's like, well, that's just not what a flat earther does, because we realize there's deception taking place. The space shit agencies are the best example of fraud regarding our cosmology. It's like I think they figured out that their shit wasn't true, and that's when NASA was formed, and they were just like, well, we got to just uphold this cosmology. It's so important. Our godless universe that we fucking fabricated. We thought we were right, but we found out we were wrong. We can't admit that now because everybody's believing it. We're going to go to the moon. We're going to go to the moon and prove that you can go land on a ball. It's just floating in emptiness, and you will walk around on it like it's Earth. People would be like, oh, Earth must be a ball. Look what they just went and did. They went and landed on a ball and walked around. It's like it was Earth. Oh, no wonder, because we live on a ball. No, it's just like totally, no, I knew that. I knew we lived on a ball. It was just a bunch of parlor tricks, man. It's fucking hoodwinkage. Massive hoodwinkage. That's why once you discover the moon landing is fake, you better jump on board the flat Earth, because that's the reason they did that, dude. There's like these moon landing deniers that hate flat Earth. What the fuck are you guys? Are you guys a psyop? I mean, do you guys really think that that's... Because the thing is, if they're lying about the space travel, that means it's bullshit. All that shit. You know what I mean? Because if what they're saying isn't true regarding them traveling through space, and that means the whole idea of space, I mean, because it doesn't make sense anyways, but just because it's like, it's all this godless, Big Bang theory. I mean, it relies on this fictitious force of gravity for anything to have ever coalesced and become what it is today. We owe our evolution to this idea of gravity, this fictitious force that like whipped the whole place together. That's what, like, the replacement of God, basically. It's like this, there was this big bang, all this stuff that was there for whatever reason just blew up, and then there was this ever-present force of gravity that caused things to coalesce and become what it is today. We evolved out of lifeless space debris. It's just an happy accident. It's the kind of thing that happens when, whatever. Got any Swiss tires for sale? You got holes in them. It's like people got Swiss brains these days, man. They just got holes in their thoughts. They can't think things through clearly. They don't hold water. Their shit just don't hold water, man. It's like Swiss brains, Swiss thoughts. You got your Swiss thoughts. You can't think straight. You can't hold water with any of these ideas. Too many holes in it. The Swiss make chocolate with holes. The Swiss make clocks. They make watches with holes. They should make a Swiss watch with holes in it. That'd be a good shtick. The Switzerland watches are supposed to be all like really good watches. I think Switzerland is like Sweden, and it's like New World Order type shit. They have their little meetings up there and out there in that region. The North Pole seems to be just as curious of a location as the South Pole. Really, it's not really. You think it would be, there'd be more focus on the actual pole, the point where it's like right at the pole. You think there'd be more like 24/7 like footage of it, like a year-long time lapse, where somebody was right at the pole and both poles and did the year-long time lapse. And I mean, can you imagine the footage? I mean, you see those seasons go by, like fucking just at the pole, for the whole year, and both poles, just like, why hasn't that been done? I mean, what what in the fuck, man? Get right at the center point in both poles and do a time lapse for the whole year. Like, how hard is that to do? You think we would have done that by now? And there's still no north-south circumnavigation. I mean, there's plenty of great arguments we have to keep this thing like present in people's minds. Because once I started realizing that there was no north-south circumnavigation, I'm like, well, that kind of fucks up the south idea. Because if it was all laid out on a ball like that, there would be no reason for the no north-south circumnavigation. It would be happening all the time. Because there wouldn't be any place that was any more significant as far as just the earthly travels, really. I mean, because a ball is just all even, there'd be no reason why you wouldn't be going around under the south and coming around. It's just like for it to all be east-west circumnavigation, like just never a north-south. I mean, that's just weird, man. That's just something you can't look away from. It's like, how come there's no north-south? It's all east-west. Weird. Because that's how it would be on a flat plane. The circles that you would make would be circles, that you wouldn't be, it's like, you're not going around a ball, you'd just be making circles over a flat plane. That's how it would be. East-west are circles. And they just get bigger. Because you can't make a smaller circle around the outside of another circle on a realm that presents itself as being planar. You set out making concentric circles on the Earth right now, you'll notice that those circles can only get bigger. That's the only result you're going to get, is bigger circles. Because every time you finish your circle, however big it gets, if there's more Earth beyond that circle that you just made, the whole entire circle, you know that the next circle is going to be bigger. And what you also know is that the next circle can't be smaller. So, you make of that as you will, but like basically the idea of concentric circles being drawn on the surface of the Earth, you have to just think about how it would play out in real life. Ditch the idea of the ball in your mind, throw that away for a second. How would it take place in real life? Boots on the ground. How are you going to make a smaller circle? You're going to be traveling around the outside of the last circle you made. That's the exercise here. You're never going to be doing anything different. You finish your circle, you step outside of that circle, and then you walk all the way around it and make a new one. It's going to be bigger every time. It can't get smaller. That can't happen on a realm that presents itself as being planar, such as Earth. Those concentric circles can only get bigger, logically thinking. Basic fundamental intuitive knowledge, like this logic, they can't shrink because you're going to be going around the outside of the circle that you just made. It necessarily has to be a bigger circle. There's no way to make a smaller circle around the outside of it. It's not possible. Because if there's more Earth beyond this last circle that you made, that's more area to expand into. And it's never going to be a different situation. Like you might run out of room or something, maybe. But that's not, how do you think that's going to look when that happens? You think it's just going to be a little teeny circle? That's silly. That's not, see, the thing is, like, people don't think this shit through. Just the idea of drawing concentric circles on the surface of the Earth right now, how it would look, how it would take place in real life. There's not a person, not a soul alive that would ever expect to get a smaller circle. They could continue with that for generations. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And nobody at any point in time would ever think that they're going to come back with a smaller measurement because they can see the visual representation of the amount of area that they're adding. It's like it's never going to be smaller. They will know intuitively that it can't get smaller. If somebody asks them, how come the circles aren't shrinking yet? They would get laughed out of town. They'd be like, what do you mean? How is that possible? How would that happen? We're supposed to believe you can't make a perimeter around the entire known world. We're supposed to believe that that's not possible. But why would that not be possible? Well, because you live on a ball. The biggest circumference you can draw on the surface of the globe Earth is only circling half the available space. That's the biggest circle you can draw. And it only has half the available space inside of it. Just ponder on that for a minute. The biggest circumference you can draw on the surface of the globe Earth has half the available space inside of it. And that's the biggest circle you're going to be able to draw. Yeah, there's more space left. There's half the available spaces inside that circle. But you can't make a bigger circle. That's the biggest circle you can draw, and it's only circling half the available space. If I told you the biggest circle I can draw in my circular yard is circling half the available space, would I sound like I was stupid, or would you think that my yard was a sphere? Because that would be the only explanation for why that would be true. And since we don't experience a ball, there's no reason to believe that the ball result is possible, because it isn't, not with what we're experiencing. I mean, it's a hell of a caveat to say, like, you live on a ball, but you'll never experience a ball. You'll never see any curvature, you know. You'll never actually witness the ball, because you'll always be orientated, you know, like as if you're on a level plane. So since they have to admit the Earth presents itself as being a level plane, there are certain things that cannot happen on a realm that presents itself as being a level plane. One of those things is for concentric circles to ever do anything but get bigger. Because a level plane, if there's more space beyond the last circle you drew, which there, how do you think it's going to play out, really? You're going to make a circle, and there's going to be stuff that you've already circled, and there's going to be more Earth beyond that circle that you haven't circled. So your circles can only get bigger on a realm that presents itself as being planar. That's the only result you'll see, is the bigger circles. You can't. They tell you that the latitude circles come down into the equator, they get bigger, 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 and then they start to get smaller, 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 smaller. But if you were to try to make that go like actually measure that out in real life, you'd find that that's impossible. It's not true. It's just a concept that people have like you know, married to. It's like married in their minds to this concept that's not even possible. It doesn't even logically make sense. Bass soup. Shirt was taken out. Oh, the Swiss tire. Oh, you saw me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was like, hopefully they don't make tires, Swiss tires with holes in them. That's a dumb dad joke. Now I can't repeat that joke too much. It's gonna lose its potency. But why does it have holes in it? I mean, it's really dense cheese. I think the moon is an old sun, and I think the craters are outpacks, not impacts. Because I think when the sun lost its soul source, it became drained. Its light went out, and it got cold, and then it solidified that plasma moon. You know, it's like this. It's a dead sun. It's the Death Star. You know, the Death Star looks just like the moon, right? In Star Wars. Because that's what a dead sun looks like. A moon. It's a moon. The moon is a dead sun. That used to be a sun. And then when it died, the Earth gave birth to another sun. The Earth gave birth to another sun from the navel of the Earth. It sprung. It broke off its umbilical cord and activated, just like giving birth to a human. The Earth is a living entity itself, and it gives birth to a sun. Pretty cool. And you know, the moon is a dead sun, and you can see the moon's belly button from where it first broke off its umbilical cord. Just go look at the moon next time it's out, and just go remember, oh, Bass told me to look for the belly button. Let's see if I can find the belly button. You'll find it right away. It's totally obvious. You just have to know what you're looking for. That's where it broke off its umbilical cord from the Earth when it was given birth, through the navel of the Earth, the North Hole. What do you think came out of that hole? That's where the water broke and the place flooded. It's happened twice. Where do you think all the salt water came from? You know, salt water bears a striking resemblance to amniotic fluid. The salt water wasn't originally here. I mean, it's from giving birth. The water breaks, comes out the North Pole. That's where the whirlpool is right now. It eventually goes back down. It just takes a long time. I bet you the ocean levels are actually lowering, not rising. Everything's the opposite from what they say. The moon has outpacks, not impacts. That was where the air was escaping after the sun solidified, the plasma moon. The moon is making the same course through the sky that the sun's making. The sun makes an analemma over the course of a year. It's a figure eight. The moon makes the ephemeral over the course of a year. It's figure eight. It's making the same path through the sky. It's on a different schedule because I think when the sun dies, it starts to sink out of the sky slowly, so it's closer. But it's about the same size as the sun. It's doing the same thing as the sun. But it's kind of a mystery, like what's its purpose? The sun is, it's obviously what its purpose is. It's like the centerpiece of our reality, but what's the moon there for? It seems like it should have had some importance, and it kind of looks like it's weathered and spent, like it's old. Like, what is it there? Why is it there? It's like this thing that's old, like this dead thing. And when the moon borrows light from the sun, it absorbs the sun's light. It's like this old plasma dead sun. It's got this plasma moon, and it absorbs the sun's light and it glows after the sun moves on. The dead sun will be glowing in the sky, but it's not its original warm source light that it had before. It's a cold light. That moonlight is cold. It comes to the earth and it'll cause things to decay. The sun's light brings warmth and life and growth. The moon's borrowed light is cold and it brings death and decay. It's the complete opposite of the sun. It's a dead sun. It's a death star of the moon. And it has a belly button. That's part of the story I think it's probably hardest for people to believe. I'm working on it. It's all about the delivery. The North Pole. But it's evident. You go look at the moon, you'll see its belly button right away. Well, that's whatever crater. I think it's the Sea of Tranquility crater. The Sea of Tranquility. That's where it broke off from the sea. Like that's right there where. See, everything is all labeled correctly. The sun is the soul, source of souls. Our souls are sparks of life, our energy that are spawned right from the soul source of energy. Souls are sparks of life. It's a light. We borrow it from the sun. That's why there's sunspots where your soul used to be. There's a little black spot on the sun today. That's the soul source. That's what they call it, the soul. Israel is sun God. No, I don't think the sun is God. God put it there. God put this whole thing in motion, obviously. There has to be a creator. That's where I like what Whitson says on that one. It's like, for there to be a creation, there has to be a creator. It's like, duh. I mean, I don't know what God is. I think God could just be consciousness itself, and that we're just borrowing from that consciousness, subdividing, and there's, because with consciousness, I think is eternal. There's no bounds, but without any bounds, it's almost meaningless. Things become less significant without any bounds. So we had to create time. Consciousness had to exist in a realm where there's time for things to have significance, for things to have meaning. So that's what I think is going on. Did I smoke that cigarette already? Oh no, I didn't. Oh no, yes I did. Oh no, yes. Oh no, yes, no, I did. Fucking son of a gun! I already smoked that thing. I don't even remember enjoying it. Let me get another one. house insurance guy is here to take pictures of the house. That's crazy. The great salty vagina, yeah, the navel of the earth. And I guess when a son is born from the earth, gee, I think what's the yo, all right. I'd imagine what's eventually going to happen is that all the sons will be born out of the earth, and all the souls will go to heaven, and the space, the night sky, the black, will be just nothing but white light, and time will cease to exist. That's how it all ends. All the souls go to heaven, all the sons are born, and all the souls go to heaven. I think we're on our second sun. That's why we have a moon in the sky. It's a dead sun. It's eventually going to crash into the earth, I bet. A long time from now. But there's like a finite amount of souls in a sun. And if all the souls eventually go up to heaven and become stars, eventually the whole black night sky will fill in with stars, and it'll just be one big bright light. And with no more sons left to be born, and all the souls up in heaven, no souls down here to witness it, that's when, the game is over or whatever. Time ceases to exist, sort of thing. So, Dean, how you doing, buddy? There's a strange sense of urgency. There's a strange sense of urgency that's disturbing to me. It's this urgency. There's a strange sense of urgency to be merging with machines. It's disturbing me. There's a strange sense of urgency that's disturbing to me. I don't think you heard me merging with machines. Absurdly disturbing me. I don't think you heard me. It's absurdly disturbing to be merging man with machines. With machines. There's this strange sense of urgency that's disturbing to me. It's disturbing to be merging man with machine. It's disturbing me. All the way out and back there's a strange sense of urgency. It's a strange sense of urgency that's disturbing me. To be merging man with machine. I wish that thing would stop making noise. I don't care. Stop telling me things. You can't make it stop. Stop. It's disturbing me. Oh, wow. I don't sneak around, but I wear sneakers. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. I'll leave time for you on your parking meter. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh, I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh, and you shouldn't need a leader either. I don't beat wives, but I wear wife beaters. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. I won't eat the bugs, but I'll eat an anteater. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. There's no stupid questions, there's only stupid teachers. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. I'll leave time for you on your parking meter. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. Wow. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. And you shouldn't either. Salty. Get your salt lick. How come nobody's ever started a salt company called Mrs. Lot's Salt? Mrs. Lot's Salt Lick, and they could have a salt figurine. It's just, I guess it's kind of brutal. We call it Look Behind Her Salt. Look behind her. See what happens when you look behind her? You get all salty. Just a song of Gomorrah, I wonder what they did there. It must have been a bad thing to get shot down for. To get shot down for. I wonder how they do it up, or did they burn it down? Get out, Mr. Law, don't you look around. Don't you look around. Who gave you your order? Somebody from the sky. I heard a voice inside my head, the desert wind so dry. The desert She had a lot of troubles coming, but it don't have to come to you. Telling you so you can tell the rest what you went through. You're a good, upstanding man, a credit to the flock. But if you don't face straight ahead, you might not take the shock. You might not take the shock. Don't look around you, don't look after you. It's not your business how it's done. You're lucky to get through. You're lucky to get through. Through the city of the map left nothing there but fire. And the wife of Lot got turned to salt because she looked behind her. Because she looked behind her. The wife of Lot got turned to salt because she looked behind her. Because she looked behind. Because she looked behind her. The Jerry Garcia song. I play it kind of different than he does. I love when they used to play that song, like in the late 70s. It was a Jerry band song. They didn't play it with the Grateful. I don't think the Grateful Dead ever played that song. Maybe they did. Yeah, I think they might have played it a couple times. Great tune though. Jerry's guitar playing on that song is so epic. I love it. He's all, this one's from the Old Testament right here. Jerry Garcia is so cool, man. I love that guy. I miss him. Left my home in Norfolk, Virginia, California on my mind. I straddled that railroad road, me that's right on across Carolina. Stopped in Charlotte and bypassed to Raleigh, we never was a minute late. I was 90 miles out of Atlanta by sundown, rolling across Georgia State. But there's little trouble, it turned into a struggle halfway across Alabama. Well, the town broke down and left us all stranded in downtown Birmingham. Straight away, bought me a through train, ticket right across Mississippi clean. I was on that midnight flyer out of Birmingham, smoking into New Orleans. Somebody help me get out of Louisiana, well I gotta get to Houston town. Well, the people there care a thing about me and they won't let the poor boy down. Sure, she bought me a silk suit, good luggage in my hand. Well, I woke up high over Albuquerque on a jet to the promised land. T-bone steak on a cotton flying over to the Golden State. The pilot told us in 13 minutes we'll be headed in the terminal gate. I send down some Jerry to come down easy, taxi to the terminal zone. Cut your engines and your wings and let me make it to the telephone. Los Angeles, get in Norfolk, Virginia, got water for 1009. And tell the folks back home it's the promised land calling and the poor boys on the line. about how a band ends a song. You know, they have endings like worked out. They hit it right. You know, it's like boom. That's when you got a class act. Bands that don't have endings worked out to their songs, they suck. Like, what, you guys just get together? Work on an ending. You can't do a fade. I do fade sometimes, live. I'll get really quiet. It's a fun exercise. How quiet can you get? Stop telling me things, you stupid phone. I hate it. Stupid. I was waiting for that moment. I was waiting for that moment. But that moment never came. All the million other moments were just slipping away. Fucking phone. I was waiting for your loving. But your loving never came. All the other loving around me was just wasting away. I must have been tripping. Must have been tripping. Must have been tripping. Just ego tripping. I was wanting you to love me. But your love never came. But your love never came. But your love never came. All the other loving was just wasting away. Must have been tripping, just ego tripping. Must have been tripping, must have been tripping. Well, I must have been tripping. about absolutely never care. Never care. Ooh, it's getting hot. Alright. Salty dog. What are you guys doing? Watching. Just watching me noodle quietly. The quiet noodle. Silent noodle. Listen to the silent noodle. Alright. I'm gonna go inside the house and get myself a refreshment here. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Oh gosh. Ah. 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 No such luck. That last song was by the Flaming Lips. I love the Flaming Lips. I think they're pretty damn cool. That's from their album, the Yoshimi and the Battle of the Pink Robots, or some shit like that. Yoshimi battles the pink robots. But it's kind of a futuristic album about, like, robots taking over the world, and this young girl who knows karate, she's gonna go kick the robot's ass. Her name is Yoshimi. And she won't let the robots destroy her. She's gonna win. That's what this song's about. Yoshimi battles the pink robots. It's a little bit abstract, but you know, the message is about, like, you know, when the robots take over, we're gonna have to rely on a young Chinese girl named Yoshimi who knows karate. She's got a black belt in karate. Her name is Yoshimi. She's got a black belt in karate. She's gotta be strong to fight them. No, they won't win. Cause she knows that it'd be tragic if those evil robots win. I know she can beat them. Oh, Yoshimi. But I you let those robots beat me. Yo, Yoshimi. They don't believe me. But you won't let those robots eat me. Oh, Yoshimi. You don't believe me. You won't let those robots eat me. Her name is Yoshimi. She's got a black belt in karate. I forget all the lyrics. But that's this song. That's a good one, dude. There's a lot of good songs on that album. But one of the songs on that album is a Glover song. I don't think he was trying to be anti-flat earth or anything, but his song is like, do you realize you're floating in space? It's like, dude, do you realize that that's a story? I mean, do you realize that what you're realizing isn't realizable? But Wayne Coyne is pretty darn cool, though. That dude is rad. I went and saw them play in Las Vegas back in 2005 at the Vegas concert. It's called Vegas, where they had a bunch of bands. Beck played, Flaming Lips were there, Primus was there, Phil Lesh and friends like the Grateful Dead, Remainders, and there was other really good bands there too that I wasn't like hip to, but I became hip to. There was Ween was there, which is fucking awesome. Oh, I can't believe I saw all those bands at one concert. It was so fun. But back in 2005 in Las Vegas, those were some good times right there, man. That shit was like a whole weekend of fucking all my favorite bands. I was just loving life. I went down there with a bunch of friends of mine, and we had like I had like a floor on the top level of the Stratosphere Tower. We were way the fuck up there. I had just reserved like a $90 cheapo room, and when I got there, they had already booked my room to somebody else. I'm like, I have reservations. I already paid, and fucking, and I just raised hell, and they ended up putting me in this fucking suite way up in the top floor. I'm like, damn, I got hooked up. I'm like, well, that worked out good. And I was there with a bunch of people, and I was just, I was in rare form, just partying my ass off. I didn't have any kids with me or anything. I was just like cutting loose, and I just wanted to be able to. I wanted my friends to be able to find me easily in the concert because there's outdoor and there's a ton of people there. And so what I did was I had this huge SpongeBob helium balloon. It's a huge SpongeBob balloon. It was big, it was like bigger than me. And I tied it to my belt, and so it was floating above me everywhere I went. So I mean, all you had to do was look out of the crowd and see where SpongeBob was floating, and then you knew where to find me. So the whole time I was there, I had people coming up to me, "Hey, what's up, bro?" It's fucking rad because it was like so easy to find me, and so people would just be like, "Hey, there's Forrest," they go fucking chase down the SpongeBob balloon. That's a really good idea. You want your kid to not get lost, just tie a balloon to him, send him on his way. But I think it kind of didn't work in my favor on a couple instances. I almost got kicked out of the show one day because it was so hot. It was Vegas, it was like Vegas on Halloween, and so it was still pretty hot down there during that period of time. It was really hot, and so I didn't wear a shirt like the whole weekend. It was like too hot to wear a shirt. I mean, maybe had a wife beater on it a couple times, but it was just so hot. It's like wet. You just take off, and it's Halloween, so people are like half naked everywhere you look. So I'm there, and I got my like cutoffs on and barefoot, no shirt, and I got my SpongeBob balloon, and like my pants always sag, but I wear when if I'm sagging, I got underwear. My butt crack isn't hanging out, all right. And so I almost got kicked out of the show for indecent exposure. I think it was just that I was just being kind of lively and stuff. Maybe I was being kind of obnoxious, but like, but I think they just tracked me because of the balloon. They were it was easy to watch me. And so they came up to me, they were going to kick me out of the show because my pants were sagging. I'm like, it's Vegas on Halloween. You're going to kick me out of the show because my pants are sagging. Wow. They just told me to pull up my pants. I'm like, okay, that can be done. I can handle that. Kind of interesting. I thought Vegas was a little more loose than that, but okay. I mean, there's chicks walking around in like G-strings and fucking. I'm like, indecent exposure, huh? Well, stop looking. Stop looking, dude. It's not for you. You guys don't got nothing to say, huh? Boring audience. Just kidding. I love you. Mm. Mm-hmm. Nobody's listening to those bands? You guys don't like those bands? Mm. The Flaming Lips are awesome. And Ween? You guys don't like Ween? Dude. You know Ween. Don't you know Ween? Push a little daisies and make them come up. Push a little daisies and make them come up. Will you love? Kiss your baby. Bye, bye, bye. They also sing that song, well, you can piss up a rope and feel a pissy dribble. You can piss up a rope and watch me giggle. For the last few months I've been packing your bags. Can wash my balls with a warm, wet rag. Till my balls feel soft and smooth like silk. I'm sick of your mouth and your 2% milk. I'm no dope, but I've lost all hope. Hit the fucking road and piss up a rope. You can piss up a rope and you can put on your shoes. Hit the road, get trucking. You guys don't know that song? Love Ween? Alright, good. Here on, you're so hip. Where have you been? Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Some coffee. The coffee has to be like boiling hot. One of these peanut butter chocolate cookies. Coffee. Oh, it's just. Ah, why does it have to be so good? Fluffy, furry buddy chews his leg on the porch. Fluffy chases the other doggies on the path. Fluffy, furry buddy. I used to play a song from that album. That's on the country album, is it? Is that on the country album, Fluffy? There's like 12 country songs. And there's 10 songs on the album. They don't even know how to count. I used to play that song off Pure Guava. It's a 9-mile walk from the office to the pumps. Sometimes you think you're gonna drop. Pumping it for the man. It's about working at a gas station. It's a piss poor life when the ladies buy you up. And then you check their oil, you know you're fucked. No one wants a loser who works for 5 an hour, smells like gas, works in the rain, and rude as hell. I can fix a tire like Hurricane Melinda. I just don't know exactly what it's worth. If I don't choose to help you, don't look like you expected. It's a gift that God gave me at birth. Freedom up and stick 'em. Pump that fucker good. Some woman down on Main Street needs a jump. Get your fingers out your ass and pump some faggots gas. And think about how bad New Hope sucks. Yeehaw! That's a real hoedown good time. That's a good album. Yeah, the fucking Pure Guava. That shit's so demented. The first song on the album is just like, little birdie flying. I don't know why he flies so high. It's just like this fucking dude. I think there was too much nitrous involved in that song. I want to fly like the little birdie in the sky. And it flies so high, I don't know why he's a birdie flying in the sky. That's like one of the best songs on that album. It's just so demented. And then it's all out of tune, like, and it's all like lo-fi. They're the kings of lo-fi. Little Birdie. Look up Ween, Little Birdie, if you want to hear something just demented, but good. Demented, but good. That's how I would describe Ween. Demented, but good. God, Ween, Satan, the oneness, the all. That's their first album, God, Ween, Satan. I think it's their first album. That's the one that has like, well, it's got a bunch of good shit on it. Push a Little Daisies is on Pure Guava. What's on God, Ween, Satan? It's one that's got like, you fucked up, you bitch, you really fucked up, you fucking Nazi whore. He just kind of cuts out and fucking crashes out all hardcore on that song. You fucked up, you bitch. Well, you dicked me over, but now you'll pay. That's a great song, too. That's a really good one. It's fun in concert they always play that song in concert. It's like when you get like people going all crazy in the audience. Yeah. Because Gene Ween, he really delivers it well. Like he's just such an abnormal kind of guy. Like he really strikes you as being kind of more of like an elf or goblin or some weird like sci-fi creature than a human. He's part human. I think they breed those kind of people out in New Jersey, somewhere out there. I've met people like that. The Ween type, the Gene Wieners. The Wieners and Deaners. Diener and Gene Wiener. Mean Ween and Gene Ween and Dean Ween. The family of Ween. They got really good serious songs too, where they're just really serious all of a sudden. This is really drama. Like they probably like they can't like they really have a hard time being pigeonholed. I mean, they're just that's what their shtick is. Like you can't pigeonhole us because they're really talented musicians and they're really capable of anything. Really, they can perform any kind of different style of music. They're really good. I mean, it's sort of what Frank Zappa would do, but Frank Zappa was a little more sarcastic, I guess. Ween seemed more sincere than Frank Zappa. Same idea, though, really. It's just like, well, did I offend you? Like, they don't give a fuck, you know? I mean, they're just letting it all hang out. But like, sometimes it's really, really calculated, though, and really, they put some time into it. Like, some of their songs, like their album Quebec, that's a really good album. But it's got a lot of really patiently orchestrated pieces on that album. What was that one song? They had the video for it. It's a transdermal celebration or something like that. It's sort of like this out-of-body experience or something. That's what it's about. You meet some like weird, like some weird ethereal creature, like some from another dimension or something. Pretty interesting song. Then he sings songs about like old folklore too. There's a song in that album called the Argus. The Argus. It's about this mythical creature. But the Argus, he practiced compassion with an eye on you and one on me. Will the Argus grant him forgiveness and give him a reason to see? Forget out the words of that, but that's a really good one too. The Argus. It's on Quebec. They put out a bunch of albums since, like, I kind of phased out of just listening to music altogether, really. But they put out a lot of stuff since I stopped paying attention to what they were doing constantly. And I've noticed they put out some really good stuff too. There's an album that's got the song. There's like a something La Cucaracha or something like that. But they have some really good songs on that album. There's one song on that album that's epic too. How does it go? It's so good too. Oh, I gotta look that song up. Oh, it's so good. I remember thinking this is probably one of their best songs. I gotta look that song up. There was it's like a play on words with the way he was doing this song, and it was so good. I gotta find it and post a link to it or something, because I remember being so impressed. What was it? It was so perfect. I gotta remember what that is. Now I'm on a mission. I gotta look that shit up. It was sort of a love song, but he was singing to this. The way he was putting it was just so perfect. Got away with words sometimes. What was the fucking? It was like some little like tagline that he had. I wish I could remember it right now. What is it? Damn it! I'm gonna look that up. Maybe I'll end my show so I can look it up. What was that? I can't remember now. Alright. Now they got this chainsaw starting up. Might as well end my show. Is anybody in there anymore? Anybody listening to me? Is there anybody out there? I think I get bad reception out here. I should go back inside. Have I shown you my clock demonstration? I pretend this is like a device that was found, like, you know, we're like after a reset or something, and we're like trying to figure it out. What is this strange device that I found? Look at this thing. All these gears that you can wind it up. This is the furthest gear from you, and when they come out, they're closer to, you know, this is the furthest one back. You can wind it backwards, or wind it like that, and then it creates some tension that releases, and then this thing will run for a while. And it just sort of ticks through this thing here. But then what I realize is that you can lift this doohickey, and it pulls this little gizmo up like this. Watch. And then this thing spins, and now this thing counts out intervals, and then it'll stop when it gets to the next groove. I'll show you. What is this mysterious device I've found? Post-reset. It appears to be functioning on free energy of sorts. It's just moving on its own. All I did was wind it up. And now it's slowly releasing the tension as it goes through these interesting intervals. You see, now it's still, this thing's still ticking away, but this thing is stopped. But if I pull on the doohickey again, the little gizmo comes up, and then it starts counting out intervals again. And they're all different length intervals. You know, you can see each little part of the gear there, each little tooth is like a period of time. And then it gets to the big groove where it stops it. But it just stops this whole flywheel, this whole part that's moving perpetually. That little groove will catch the gizmo, and then it stops. But this thing's still going. So time keeps on ticking. But then you got to pull on the doohickey to get the gizmo to come up, and then you get some intervals to, like, you know, count out. 1, 2, 3, and, well, I thought it was going to stop. Oh, I was mistaken. That wasn't a groove. That was just a spot on the thing. All right, here we go. Coming to a groove. It's going to stop any second, in 1 second. And that's a wrap. And the flywheel stops spinning. But the time keeps on ticking, so you pull the doohickey and the little gizmo comes up, and the fly starts to spin, and then the fucking thing starts counting out intervals again. And they're all different lengths. It gets down to a really short interval. There's like just 2 grooves before it comes to a close. That's a short, or there's 1 groove. That's the shortest interval. So they're all different lengths. I think it counts out, like, you know, 1 through, like, I don't know what's the longest one. Maybe like 12, maybe 10. I don't know. I gotta count them. But I'm not sure what the significance of these intervals is. That's the part that's really got me sort of mystified. I don't get it. What is it, and why would it stop? Like, why would it require you to lift it, the doohickey, and so the gizmo is freed and spin again and count out intervals? Like, what are we doing here? What is this? What do they use this for before the reset? What was this for? I presume it's some kind of timekeeping device, but, like, what's the significance of the intervals? Like, what does that mean? Why? I want to know why. And it's just, why does it require a manual, you know, interaction? Is it like a stopwatch or something that you count out seconds? And it's a wrap. The time keeps on ticking. So what I'm creating here is this momentum we have going here. As long as there's something spinning, it could just as easily be a turbine that's gathering up, you know, warmth or energy. Basically, you could be storing energy with this device. If you had turbines fastened to these gears somehow, or attached some way where the turbines are spinning when this thing's moving, then you would be storing up energy inside a battery of sorts, where you're compiling the energy as this thing's moving. And you can see that it takes very little work to get this thing moving for a long time. And you just have to wind the thing up, and then it just goes. And you'd be storing power. So that's it. It's a wrap. Late.